So let's see who wants to start here. Who has something? Val, you have, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'll give you an update what we've been doing here. We had the psychic fair on Saturday. Lila and I did that, and then we had a little information table and a little 20-minute talk with 4 people. One of them walked out, and then at the information table, I was talking to somebody, and then they walked up muttering some profanities at me. So I figured I'm doing something right, I thought, These people are,
Are you evil now, Val?
Well, I'm getting a response. I don't know if I'm evil or not.
That's it. You're right. You're very aware. That's right. When they start cussing and swearing and holding up protest signs, it's like, oh gee, I must be on the right path. Yeah, okay. That's how it is.
Walk away shaking their heads. Like what's this guy? What's this guy?
The big cross, yes, with the nails, and yes, yeah. I'll be back. Yeah.
I did make one connection there that it was kind of a trickle. Not a lot of people, but the people I did talk to, I did some nice sharing, and one gal, she may be a potential for a public relations, PR, publicity, because she's kind of into that, and she liked what we were about. So she didn't quite get on the call last night that we had, but we also had our first team call for the concert, and Alessandra, she's the one I talked about before. She sparked me into even like doing more, getting more active in the concert, Flint Center concert. She's a musician, songwriter, and looks like she's interested in working with the performers and the schedule in that respect. So she was on the call with Lila and I last night, and we were like our first planning meeting for the concert, and so she's excited about it, and well, that's about it. But things are moving along.
Well, finding people like her, yeah, because again, if you have some of these people that are performers, and you just have to see it from their view, and that is that, they're out there trying to scrounge jobs at restaurants and whatever, and then they have an opportunity to play at the Flint Center. They're motivated, especially because they're not going to hire the place and put it together, but if they find somebody like you, they're thinking, okay, well, he's going to do it. I'd be glad to show up. So you get them to, do some of the footwork too, and organize, etc. But yeah, I can see that. Yeah, because that's
exactly what's going on. It's exactly. She's not a youth. Well, she's a youth of 43. She'd probably be the oldest one, because I'm working on youth primarily. But she'll take the reins in terms of. She's exactly what you're saying. She's thinking. She wants to be, more recognized. So this is a great opportunity for her. And then there's a couple other people, Anjali and this other guy. She's like Indian, and then there's this other guy I heard about, Enzo. He's from Costa Rica, and they're both in that position where they're just trying to start their careers, entertainment careers. So it's be good for them, and they could help in publicity themselves, gathering their people. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you just remind them, hey, you're just getting old, and, if you don't do it now, you're going to be older,
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, it's very, very real. It goes fast, especially if somebody that's reached their 40s, they feel that they're already really old.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like you only got, then you look at your watch, if you got one or not, on your wrist, and you go, oh, you only got so much time left. I don't know if you're going to make it, so. I don't know if you're going to make it to the concert next year. Yes, better hurry up and get a lot of people for us. Yeah. So you just kind of play with that. It's kind of funny, really. And so you're out there talking about the natural environment or whatever, or are you selling land air missiles, or what's the deal here? Why are they pissed off? I mean, talk about the natural environment. Is that bad? Are we all of a sudden bad?
I guess it's a big shift for them. This is a spiritual psychic fair, so people are used to the traditional terms, and I was like throwing in some little terms like the is now and then, and just little things, and it kind of tripped them up. And in the 20 minutes that we had, I mean, there's no way we can, give somebody, this what we're doing in 20 minutes. And so we started with just try to change it over to like, okay, there's some new ideas here, new terms that we're gonna pivot off of, and it just, it's just kind of touchy. Like, we had some questions and we try to answer those, but and we try to go off their questions, see where they're coming from. But from what we're presenting, I did want to like throw in some terminology, because that would shift their viewpoint from God. They're already determined what God is for them into this new realities. In 20 minutes, do that. So.
Well, I have fun with that when they bring up God. My neighbor, too, he's very religious. He quotes the Bible sometimes. He's a little landscaper, but he's a fun guy. He's really cool. And one time I said to him, yeah, the gods of man are real, but life is bigger. And so, that kind of throws him off. It's like, huh? Yeah, so you kind of give them hints. When you try and nail it down, they don't get that at all, and they don't listen. And like my neighbors the other night, just trying to give them a few things, and I said, look, you have to go in steps. The first step is read the book. And she wants to know the answers of life right away, and I said, you have to read the book, sweetie. It's almost like she was hating me immediately, and I just met her. And I know I go through this too. And so I just very calmly, and then finally I got myself out of there. But yeah, people want the answer right away. It's like, give me the answer or you're stupid. It's like, you don't know the answer? Yeah, and so again, yeah.
One guy asked,
go ahead.
One guy asked me, what about compassion? And I didn't say this, but I thought of it later. Well, you can have compassion. It doesn't, we're not, you don't have to have a religious group or spiritual path to have compassion. You can have compassion. You do whatever you want. I didn't have I just muddled my way through that one somehow. Because we were using the is, we were using the sun example, and they were getting that, well, there's no love in the sun, there's no compassion in it, what you're talking about. So.
Yeah, then you get stuck, don't you? Yeah, you get stuck, but you learn from that. You learn to be, when you're talking to the public, you learn to start off in baby steps, just really because that's where they're at. And what he's really saying with compassion is that, basically that, my mother's always taking care of me. When I go home, I get to suck my thumb and I'm fine. And so you're talking about the sun and you're outdoors, and that's scary. It's like, where's the compassion? It's like, it's almost like that what you're presenting, you're selling compassion in the package. Yeah, really. It's like, okay, we have compassion, we have happiness, we have joy, we have all these things. Yes, that's another 1995 if you want that one. You see? Yeah. And this is how it's done, too. these people that and then people go, oh, okay, I'll sign up for the big one. I want all three. So how much is that? That's $69.95. Yeah, when you're selling them like that, it's like they seem to buy it. The stupider it is, they buy it. But when it's like when it makes sense, it's like no, you don't know what you're talking about. But that's a toughie. And you start going too far out, no, they don't get it because they don't have experience. So you got to do them one step at a time. But you're figuring it out. I've been there myself. I know. Wrestled with these things because everybody has their idea of it, and it's after a while, it's like, why should I say anything? They don't get it anyhow. Yeah. But you're going through your growth too, and it's good. Yeah, you're tough. You're brave. Yeah. See, how many people will do this?
Well, it's fun. It's very challenging, but it's like an art. Our art to
How's Lila doing with it? How's Lila doing it when she talks to people? How's she doing?
Well, one of them asked her, "Are you happy?" Or what about happiness?
Mm-hmm.
So, because again, I guess what they were getting from us was not what they're looking for. The traditional truth, happiness, love kind of idea, compassion. So, well, she also, I don't exactly remember what she said, but she was, and I don't know if she said, yes or no. I think she more talked around it a little bit, but she's doing quite well, actually. She's picking it up. I mean, she doesn't think she is, but she is. I mean, she's getting out there too, and putting herself out there, and sharing, and she's enthusiastic, and people see her enthusiasm, and that's one thing they see.
Oh yeah. She's the ancient barrier. Yeah. So you can try different things, but you're dealing with a literal world, and the literal world wants things accordingly. It's almost like you're talking to one of those robot people that call you up, on the phone, and you try to say something else, and they stick to their routine. So you can suddenly say, well, yeah, happiness, that's easy. I've got a whole lot more than happiness with this. You see, in other words, you kind of bug them a little bit. You see, and it's interesting, isn't it, how people go to that. It's like love and happiness. Do you have love and happiness? It's almost like they're cross-examining you. It's like, well, you don't have love, do you? So I want to see if you do. I want to see if you answer the question properly. So do you have love and happiness? And it's like, well, you don't look very happy to me. And it's like, but then you can use these little things to pull it around. But you just test it. But what I found myself is that dealing with a literal world, it's just a mind wrestle. It's all. It's like those debates on TV between Hillary and Trump. You could say the simplest things, but everybody's yelling and screaming. It's just how the literal world is. It doesn't understand itself, so how can it understand someone else? It doesn't take the time to do it.
And there, after like a few minutes or whatever, how long, they usually made up their mind too about you. I noticed, these people are this or that, and and then they go off of that. I mean, that's what I see. I'm not sure, but the four people, I figured, I was watching them and seeing like, and somewhere along the line, I think they made a decision, what we're about internally or within themselves, and then they played off of that with their questions or whatever. But I could just tell some subtle shift, like especially with a couple of them. Well, especially with the one that walked out, she really made the decision that these people were off the wall. There's nothing here for me. That and then after that, well, just have to play around with kind of, it's like a tennis match or something. I don't know. It's like kind of like maybe But whoever you're talking to, it depends on whoever you're talking to. It's like what you're going to be presenting to them in terms of, assisting them, I guess you could say.
Well, yeah, you could bring some extra grocery carts and give them one. That's how you could assist them. It's like, here, give yourself a ride, downhill. I know, and these fairs are interesting too because people shop around and that's just how it is. When I do whatever I do, I don't expect anything from it. I just wait and see what the person's going to do. I kind of wait and see. But again, I always ask the question. See, they're asking you questions, so they kind of pin you down. So you get in the mode to where you ask them the question. Okay, so it can be anything. It's like, did your mother teach you all these ideas or these questions, or where did you get these questions from? See, you throw it back there where you kind of confuse them a little bit. It's like, where did you get all these questions from? Where did they come from? Did they come from outer space, or did they come from God, or where did they come from? But you don't be specific. You see, it's more kind of generalization, so they have to kind of figure it out. When you're specific, then they work off of that. I noticed that when I just use examples of words or certain situations, then the people just go like right there. Their literal mind goes right there. And it's like, oh, geez, well, that's not what I meant, dude. That was just, all you had to do is say, oh, okay. But no, then they start going off on that. They go off on that idea because they're very literal. It's like they want to chase it like you'd be standing with a dog and you throw a ball and it just runs right away. It doesn't sit there and look at the ball. It just like runs after it. That's what they do. They just run after these ideas. And so, yes, it's a challenge of learning out there. Yes, go ahead.
The biggest complaint you could say we had was you're so vague. You're vague. You're very vague. What are you talking about? What can we take home with this, or what do you expect us to get from this, or
vagueness?
You're talking generalities.
We have vagueness that we're sharing here, and I would jokingly say, "Oh, you're very perceptive." Yes, this is what we share is vagueness. In other words, whatever they say, it's like, "Wow, you're very perceptive." Yes, you must be psychic. Oh, wow. You have great psychic powers. You see, build them up. Yes.
Well, humor doesn't hurt. Yeah.
But if they're literal, they don't want to hear that. I try to joke with people, and I see when they're very literal, they don't want to hear that. They don't want to laugh about something serious like, are you happy, or you're.
Oh yeah.
Or where's the love or the compassion? This is serious business. I have these ideas, and these are serious business. Like my credit cards, it's serious stuff. I don't laugh about my credit cards.
Yeah, that's right on. Really, they're in that mode. Yeah.
I don't laugh about the president destroying us. No, that's not funny. Yeah. So again, it's very, you play off of these things, and I used to, when I was out there for so many years, and people would come up and they say this or that, and a lot of times it was religious people, and so I'd just say, well, have fun with yourself, basically. Well, I said, you're doing really good. I would empower them, you might say. We use that nonsense idea, and I would just simply reinforce what they're saying. Because I see that they've already decided, which is understandable, and so I reinforce that. See, and it's a little surprising to them. And then they just kind of walk off. Remember this one religious fellow? I just kind of empowered him with his own ideas, and then he just kind of walked off, and it's like, huh? But, you see, I culminated it, because you know what? I didn't want to talk to him anymore. Because he would have just gone on literally, and I would have just had to sit and listen to it. So I culminated the whole thing. So I just totally agreed with everything he said. And then he just kind of walked off. So, yeah. Well, but you're wonderful for doing this. Good for you. You have a lot of experience. Let's see if you live. So the thing is that they come around later with kidnap you. You never know. Let's go get him. Yeah, let's go get him and get rid of him. Yeah, it's just a funny world. Yeah. Besides, with the microwaves and the chemtrails, I look at the time when I was out there 30, 40 years ago, it's all different, and people are really bizarre today, and they're taking drugs and what have you, Prozac and whatever. And so you can ask them that question too. Do you do drugs? Did you take your prescriptions today? Are you okay?
Yeah.
You can bug them a little bit sometimes. You throw that in and see what they say.
Yeah, when things get too serious, I do a little humor. It brings around more realness, to something more real.
Yeah, the fun part is when you bring the mother part in, it's like, when you were young, did your mother ask you all these questions? Did she ask you? Did you answer them properly? Etc. So again, you bring the mother thing in there too. Yeah. Oh, I hear your mother calling. Is that your mother? So yeah.
With the humor, it just kind of like calms things down. It's just like, oh, okay, everything's okay. That's what I get. Like, oh, everything's okay. He's no longer a threat. He's just okay. He's got a sense of humor, so maybe he's okay. Maybe there's something.
You need to get a bear outfit. Like Smokey the Bear.
That would work. Well,
you need to be the talking bear, and this is an idea I have for Kelsey. It's like she does all these interviews with these kids, and I can see her like down at the pier here because a lot of people. There's a big area right before you walk onto the pier, and you got Jesus people and people standing up and talking about things or whatever. And I can see Kelsey there in a bear outfit, and then she's interviewing the kids. You see, and then we set up props like there'll be a big band there. It'll say Channel 7 News or something like this, and people will come around and they'll listen. You get the first couple of kids like Caleb's son. Brother or something like that, get these little kids there, and then she's in the bear outfit interviewing the kids. I see that. It's a good idea.
That might be good for me too, because Lila was getting after me for like, well, Val, you next time you do this, you need a haircut, and you need to dress up a little bit, maybe even a tie. So if I had a bear outfit, I could get away with being myself.
Clown outfit. Well, clowns are scary, but the thing is, yes. The clowns are scary, but something like that. You never know. And then you set the stage up like you're interviewing somebody important or whatever. You could be interviewing her, and then people will come around and they'll stand there and they'll listen to the interview. And this is how they get it objectively. You see, you're talking to this person, so they'll listen objectively, and then you'll look at the audience and they're shaking their heads. Oh yeah, this all makes sense. This guy's crazy, but he's making sense. Yeah.
Well, Caleb actually accepted. I invited him to be the host for the concert, so Kelsey can be the bear, and do that. She can walk around the concert and interview the people. So
that could be interesting. Yeah, that could be interesting. These kids will do anything. Yeah, they're great. Yeah. But you're doing it, Val. It's wonderful. I love to hear this stuff. It's fun. It's like me. I've done so much of it, and I still do it. And but I was out there in the public. I did everything. I built the booths. We went to all these fairs, took all the fairs in Orange County, and I just became very, very adamant. We did them all. And then plus the introductory. I found every community center, library, any place that I could get. And then after a while, because usually banks have community centers, and they're free to the public. They do it for the public. But the libraries started to want liability insurance, $1 million policies, just to do something. And it's like, forget it. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah, so you brought your bird. Cool. Okay, go ahead.
Yes. That's about it today. But yeah, thanks for all this opportunity you're giving us to go out and do our thing. It's fun. It's really good.
Well, it's great to know you, and the thing is that after a while you realize what else you're going to do in life. Look at these people, what they're doing. Look at their lives. Yeah, they're living their lives and whatever, and that's fine. But they've done this for lifetimes, and haven't taken the time to wake up to see what else there is, and it's huge. I see that is huge. I have a great compassion for people. And it's not easy, but a step at a time through the process of what you're doing for yourself, see, you're waking up and you're better articulating this, and by that very fact, when it's ready, the people that are ready will be stepping up because you'll be ready for them. You see, that's what you're doing. And so, not everybody will do that. I always focused on that to get better and better to present it, and eventually, the right people do step up, and it's few and far between. But as we, it's never really been done like this to where, we're dealing with the natural environment, etc., and we're really promoting it. And so people see this, and we're making sense. And we're gonna get people that are your so-called basic people, and they're gonna start to catch on with this. Is what they're gonna do. And the next step is we have the natural environment idea, and so many people are aware of that, what's going on. And the next step is very simple. It's like, well, just watch your dreams at night, and then see what life is showing you about the natural environment. I mean, it's kind of an easy transition. And from there, things start to happen. So we've created an easy transition here to where it's not a big label, And so again, what's wonderful about us, we're very real, and life is working with us, where it's not working with these other things. You have all this stuff going on in the world, but life is not working with it because it can't, because it's distorted, it's perverted. And that's not how life is. Life works with the genuine hearts that, can see it and contact it. That becomes the difference. Even though their dead businesses are working, they're really not working because they're going nowhere. That's just very real. And so, but you're practicing to get better and better and to relate to the world. But overall, the boys have the same situation on any level. And that is that it's all up to the individual and how they see things. So, that's just how it is. But at least you're doing it, because if you don't do it, then what do you have? Myself, I like the adventure. I want to learn. I want to see. I want to be better realistically, not artificially. So that's why I continue to do it, continue to write. And there's always these little things and these little viewpoints collecting to where eventually you've cleaned yourself out too of all the things that you don't need. This is what people don't realize. They think just because they have free will that collecting every idea in the world really means something, when actually they've really bogged themselves down with a lot of nonsense, and they really don't have any purpose. They just think multitasking, going in 20 different directions, is wonderful because wow, they just know so much, when really they know nothing. They have no real focus on reality. Again, we're here to recognize the all is. Without that, there is nothing. This is darkness, and this world will become dark again. And that's just how it is. That's the cycle of things. And so, but right now, we are right in the middle of it. And we have the best part. So, good for you, Val. Good for you. Yes, no, it's all for you. It's taken me a long time to figure it out, to where it's working in the world, and that's all that matters to me. Again, I see every one of you, it's working, that's all that matters, it's for you.